Thank you for joining us in this workshop, which you can see the title here, Soft Skills, Satisfying Need in Southern Nevada. This is somewhat of a misnomer because it's really, after listening to James Jones' keynote this morning, what may supersede what he presented on the decline of skilled workers in ICT in Nevada, and I really think it's all over the United States. Soft skills are becoming more important, in fact, to the point where they exceed the technical skills to degree, even at the baccalaureate level. In fact, it suddenly occurred to me during the description, in your program for this particular session, we won't hire your students, even if they have a 4.0 GPA or bachelor's degree, unless they have soft skills, according to our business and industry partners. Over
I was at DreamWorks a couple months ago, and that was their most critical thing, more than technical skills.
Yeah, and we've seen that Pete Soplin's workforce study in Nevada back in 2006. It was actually documented there, but we're at a point now where our partners that hire our students are emphasizing that importance even more so than they do. So
we get the same thing too.
It's great. So I think it's universal. So we in Southern Nevada are somewhat egotistical. So anyhow, let me start off by introducing my colleagues, esteemed colleagues and partners. Deborah Boisvert, she's the Executive Director and Principal Investigator for the Baytech National NSF Center of Excellence. And Terrell Bailey, she's the President of the Allison Group, a private consulting firm that we partnered with to do our soft skills workforce study. And my name is Warren Hioki. I'm from the College of Southern Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. And if we can quickly go around, we only want to take a few minutes to state your name, institution, and department affiliation. And so let's start off over here.
Bob Nelson, Technical Support.
Christine Quinn, Northern Essex Community College in Haven, Massachusetts. From the back end of the
Great.
Motley Blasey with Junior Assistant.
Michael Hebert, Center Junior College.
Desmond Chun, Chabot Community College, Business and Computer Science.
California.
Yes.
William Noble, American River College, Computer Science.
Great.
Mohammed Kanri University, Computing and Technology.
And Sambira, George Mason University, Applied Information Technology Department.
Okay.
I'm Ron Masuda. I'm not an academician. I'm with Certif Board. I did attend the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill.
Okay, great.
Eric Sadnick, Mendocino College up in the wine country here, and Business Office Technology.
Ophelia Clark, State of College, San Francisco, Project Chair.
Joe Lipsig with De Anza College in Cupertino, computer lab instruction.
You want to go down that road?
They're on the Latino Washington College in Chicago.
Luis Piazza, I'm with the Baytech Group.
Bill Hall with the colleges and some school with IT department.
Louis John City College of San Francisco, Honors College here in the area, and computer science. Coy? Yeah.
Sherry Susan Career Ladders Project in Oakland, California. I was born here at NSF conference.
And Chevy Glendale Community College, Computer Science.
Jane Ostrander with Turkey Meadows Community College in Northern Nevada. And the Destination Project.
Staff on that, the external evaluator for City College of San Francisco Center.
I'm in the form that I'm a CSN, I see personality.
Gary Hartley, Folsom Lake College, Dean of Instruction Technology.
Very good. So we've got quite a combination, predominantly California community colleges, North Carolina, Boston, Hawaii. Anybody else from out of state?
Oh, well, I'm not from
Oh,
out of state.
the folks that just joined us.
But I just joined you, yeah. I'm Community College Outreach Director at the Open Coursework Consortium and sometime adjunct at Foothill College.
Great. Welcome. Who else just walked in? Your name and
Olivia.
institution,
Yeah, I'm
department?
Teresa Rowland with the Career Ladders Project, and we work with California community colleges and their partners to create pipelines of opportunity for students of color.
Well, we've got a full house. It must be something important we're covering. Whatever you want to take it from here? Oh. Okay. Okay.
Olivia here.
Olivia from MPIC, of course. Anybody else?
So I'm going to do a very quick context here, just to set the stage. So BayTech is a national center, and we focus on the compensation area of and so we really focus on the curriculum part of the strategic pathways, looking at the partnerships that are necessary in order to sustain those. We're working in 4 urban areas of Boston, Chicago, Las Vegas, and San Francisco. In fact, there's actually one of our partners in this. We do a lot of actionable research to try to figure out what makes sense in this workplace and thinking about how to deal with this on a national basis. And so we try to get involved in a lot of the conversations nationally around IT and computing and computational thinking, et cetera. So this, if you want to go to the next slide. So part of this, College of Southern Nevada is one of our partners, and so we put together a series of workshops that we're going to be talking about today and some of the things that we did within that. So.
I ran out of ink on the color printer, so if you get a chance as we're doing our round robin activity at the end, you might want to glance at the flyer there on soft skills, and this is a series of workshops that Deborah was just talking about. Oh, it's in the handout. Great, yeah. Thank you. I forgot that Carol shrunk that down. Thank you, Carol. Anyhow, that's the flyer that's going around campus at the College of Southern Nevada, and we completed the first of a series of 3 workshops back on November the 9th a few months ago, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful, constructive, and fun workshop that we're hoping to maybe replicate at other institutions, and you would do the same, and we're certainly welcome to share the best practices to all of you. Our purpose for the professional development series is to better prepare our students for, especially in Southern Nevada, what our business and industry representatives are looking for. And again, we have a statewide advisory committee of over 350 ICT subject matter experts that have been with us for at least a decade. So we're very, very grateful for their input. But as I said before, now we're at a point where the soft skills now exceed what they expect, and they serve on many of our advisory committees in all areas of ICT. We don't care if they have a 4.0 or a baccalaureate degree. We're not going to hire them. They're being very, very terse about that and selective that if they don't have the soft skills. And so based on that workforce study that Carol Bailey is going to talk about, there are 3 elements that validate, justify this series of professional development workshops. It's based on Carol's extensive workforce study that we conducted back in May, what our business and industry partners are looking for. James Jones, projected of the Department of Labor competency model, and our Nevada Department of Education, turns out nationally as well, what they're looking for in career readiness and employability skills. Definition of soft skills, I think everybody knows what soft skills are. We've even gotten to the point where we've ranked them or prioritized them in the state of Nevada. And normally you think of communication skills, written skills, speaking skills. teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving, but there's also, and I've heard some horror stories about hygiene, dress code. Those of you that know about Google, you wear a tie there, probably not going to get the job. If you're covered with tattoos, that might be the person we may want to hire. But hygiene is important as well. And so we're hearing all different types of stories, but what came to mind is, well, somebody questioned me, how are you going to teach your students, with the very people that hire students, how are you going to teach them the soft skills when you don't even have that? And so they brought up the stereotype of the computer scientist, and my background is in electrical engineering, and back in the heydays, it's the slide rule, pens and all that stuff, and pocket protectors. And so there's a stereotype there that we need to get over, and let's do our investigation, or have our students investigate the organization before they go in for an interview. But faculty need to be versed in what business and industry partners are looking for at first if we're going to teach our students. So this is stuff that Carol dug up for us on Wikipedia: emotional intelligence, interpersonal skills, and some of the traits that personality attributes that I mentioned before. Carol Bailey from the Allison Group is going to talk a little bit about that study that, again, justifies with the Department of Labor, our statewide Department of Education for Nevada, and why we conducted the workshop. And this is one major reason. Carol?
Thank you, Warren. So this study was conducted in May of 2012, and it builds on the study that Warren mentioned earlier that Pete Saflin did back in 2006. So I used compatible methodology for the 2012 study with the 2006 study, so that we could compare across, to the degree possible, compare across the whole 5-year period. And we not only updated it, but the results with respect to soft skills were replicated. Some of the technical skills, there were changes in the technical skills, but in the soft skills, in the ratings of them, the importance of them. So, you know, the message has been there for a long time, and as Warren said, it's just gotten more sharp. It's gotten sharper. It's like, no, we're not hiring people unless they have. They've just gotten much more clear about it. We did 2 focus groups, one in Reno, one in Las Vegas. We had 84 employers. We also had educators that attended. They had their own work groups, and they looked at, you know, what steps they had taken since the 2006 study, and they'd taken quite a few, by the way. But then they also got to listen to the conversation, the large group conversation. And we also did a skills survey with those 84 employers. So the survey consisted of 16 categories. There were 96 knowledge and skills. We used the SIGITE, which is, oh dear, you're with SIGITE.
Special interest group for computing.
There it is, special interest group for, yeah, there you go, so you guys probably know. We used their survey, but we also adapted it, and Warren added some hardware categories because it's kind of software-centric, a bit more software-centric than the industry is in Las Vegas. But it's a validated survey. So we used that survey, and they rated these skills from not important to critical on a 4-point scale. In addition to, and I'll talk about those results in a minute, in addition to the survey, from large group discussion, some of the things that came out of the focus groups were the importance of certification. So certifications come and go with employers, and right now they're sort of on the rise again. In particularly in CCNA, MCSE, and Security Plus, and they also really want project management to be in there. And it doesn't have to be certified, but they're really looking for employers that have, or employees that have a combination of a technical skill with project management. But far and away, once again, the knowledge and skills that had the highest ratings were those in what was called business and non-technical. So the ratings on the technical skills, they kind of clumped. They went from 2.9 to 3.3, 3.4. That was kind of generally, and by the way, that all this information is available on the BayTech website. But notice, here's business non-technical. The lowest score is 3.6. This is on a 4-point scale. Problem solving is darn near every person of those 84 gave it a 4 to end up with a 3.9. So based on this overwhelming kind of between 2006 and 2012 overwhelming feedback from industry, BayTech has sponsored and CSN has developed this workshop series to assist instructors in information communications technology in infusing soft skills modules into their existing curriculum. Yes?
Some definitions. The difference between troubleshooting and problem solving?
Mm-hmm. Well, so my understanding is that troubleshooting has a very particular, there's this particular sequence of things you go through with troubleshooting that, and problem solving, you may be solving problems amongst people. And so you're not going to be necessarily following the 5-step or the 7-step, whichever one you particularly use.
Attitude and stewardship?
So I take that as accountability, ownership of what we do, stewardship, attitude, can do, as opposed to, I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure. Pete.
The real problem solving part of the solution must lie outside the context of the problem. It's not like taking the fuse out of the fuse holder and waiting to the student to discover why the machine doesn't turn on.
Right.
Part of the solution has to be outside.
Outside. And troubleshooting is inside. Great. Okay. Other question? So the entire report is available on the BayTech website. Deborah.
And then, so what we also wanted to say was that this study really agreed with many of the other types of things that were going on as well. So as they mentioned before with the Department of Labor competency model for IT, you see all of that at the very bottom of that pyramid. If you look at the Nevada employability skills for career readiness, this is something that is now required of all schools in Nevada. It actually has complete standards for these employability skills. If you look at, right, exactly. And then if you look at job ads, so Burning Glass is a market intelligence, a labor market intelligence tool. If you look at job ads and you do a search, we just happened to do one for the state of Nevada in installation, maintenance, and repair. We just chose an area and looked at the occupational family of computer and mathematical because a lot of these teachers were coming in from that. These were the top 6 skill sets. Business environment skills, which means how do you work within the context of a business. So you've got to be able to apply those skill sets. Communication, coordination, problem solving. They actually rated programming, development, and engineering as significant general repair types of things. So these are actually outside of the normal functions. So these are the extra things that are important for these people to be hired. So in other words, you may have a job of a computer analyst, which has very specific job capabilities. These are the types of things that says also important are boom, 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 boom. And so these are the types of things that are showing up in all of these job ads throughout Nevada. So it's one of these types of things that everybody is reinforcing the fact that this is an important skill set. What I think is extremely important to think about in some of this work is that it is not an add-on. It is how you have to do business. And so what we were doing in Nevada was helping faculty really think about how you integrate this within the context of their course, not as an add-on, but as the way they are conducting their course. And so this is going to be a 3-workshop series. We did the first workshop in November, and faculty are getting a $1,500 stipend. They get $600 of that stipend is to attend the 3 workshops, and they must attend the 3 workshops and participate. It was really interesting as we were designing this, because Warren's like, oh my gosh, some of these things I have the feeling the faculty are going to get mad and walk out. None of them did. In fact, they stayed for almost an hour after the workshop continuing to talk. And then they also have to do a modified curriculum that shows that integration piece at the end, and at the end of that they get the other part of the stipend, which is another $900 for that curriculum modification. So it is based on outcomes and deliverables as opposed to just attendance. So I wanted to kind of set that stage. Yeah. There we go. So the first workshop we focused on things like teamwork and communication skills and some problem-solving types of things, and a lot about attitude. They had to do role-playing. We actually had industry come in at lunchtime, and the faculty had to sit there and do an elevator pitch to the employers on why they should hire their students. And so then the employers gave them feedback on, well, here's what I think is important. You may think that just because of the fact that they know all of the routers and this and that and the other, but I actually want them to be able to do X, Y, Z. And the faculty found it the most useful to them, and as I said, you could not get them to stop talking. They literally kept going on, and it was a fabulous part of the day. In the next workshop, we're going to be really focusing on some of the specifics in that DOL competency with the business context and problem-solving integration, how you do that within the context of curriculum. And then in the third workshop, we'll have some of the peer review of the curriculum revisions and modules and having them work through that piece. So, as I said, the next one is going to be in like February, March, and then the final one will be toward the end of the spring. Okay, so we're now going to get you involved and start doing some activities here. So, questions? Yes?
Have you looked at the efficacy of integrating soft skills into not just classes, but what's the best approach within a department, within a degree, within a certificate, within a class? Because if you've got a large department, you've got a lot of people, what's the best way to do it? Is it going to be in every class? It seems maybe a single course rather than integrating soft skills in all courses. I mean, what's the best? I mean, you're at the beginning, I think, and perhaps some look at how to do this in a whole department.
So let me just do one. So Baytech, actually, that's kind of one of the things that became kind of our outcomes at the very beginning of Baytech when we were a regional center in Boston. Middlesex Community College, in fact, did the very first course where they kind of almost created this course where it was a Microsoft Office type of course. And the industry people have said, we're tired of people getting credit for Microsoft Office courses because all they're doing is pointing and clicking and they don't remember how to do it and all this type of stuff. So they decided to undo that whole process of the way they did it and created a company, and students had to do all sorts of production using Microsoft Office tools, but to produce things for this company. The faculty member actually became kind of the consultant and would do just-in-time types of activities. The students rebelled at the very end and rated that faculty member the lowest that they had ever been rated. This was a really strong faculty member. And said, they didn't do anything. We had to do everything. It was like, really? Why are you paying this person? So anyway, so then, but what was so interesting, so we're sitting there looking at this going, okay, so let's see, you know, maybe we've got to try this again and see what happens. What was so fascinating was 2 days into the next semester, the dean all of a sudden had all these students in there going, get me out of this class. All they're doing is lecturing. I want to go back to this other way of doing it. Even though they really thought that they worked really hard. The other thing that was very fascinating is there is, and I'm blanking on the name, there's an assessment tool that Cengage has that Middlesex was using at the time. SAM, thank you. All I could think was SIM, and I knew that wasn't right. So SAM. So SAM, they actually tested students who were in a basic office class as well as in this class, and the students scored 30% higher on SAM from this other class. So it was one of those where clearly the students were gaining far more of the capabilities that were important there. So I think that, and so the other thing that I think is very interesting was that as Middlesex started doing this, it is now embedded in the mission of the college. It is literally said that student outcomes will include these types of things.
But what you're describing is sort of scenario-based learning and problem-based learning in that environment. But specifically, for emphasizing the soft skills, do you take all of your classes and turn them into problem-based learning, which I'm sure Jane would say yes, and include the soft skills, or is there a way to, I guess I'm looking at asking how do you want to approach just integrating the soft skills into a college, into a department, into a degree, into a...
And I think that's a really good question. And I think that the outcomes are extremely important.
Yes.
And so the more that that is communicated, and it's the type of thing that with Nevada, with the employability skills, the more that those are indicated as being outcomes specific to every student, I think that you're going to see more of that push. And you're seeing that in more and more schools. And that's why I said, so Middlesex is now assessing faculty on whether the students are getting those types of capabilities. And, CSN is going to start doing, I'm sure a lot of that is, you start seeing that as well.
We're hoping to have a combination of the help of the Nevada Department of Education. If this is state mandated, especially for secondary education, but we're including post-secondary now. I think it's a great question, Michael, and it's a very, very long, arduous process.
I mean, that's why I think that's sort of where you're...
Department of Labor, you saw the model, it's in your handout there, but the Department of Education is helping. BayTech, which, by the way, we are so grateful to be a partner with BayTech, and PIC as well. Without their support, we can't do this, but Department of Labor, Nevada Department of Education, and Carol's study, of course, but probably what we're doing is on a very small focus basis, Michael, in order to answer your question, is we're holding the faculty who attended the workshop series, and they got to do all three, that $1,500 stipend if they attend all three and actually integrate and come back and tell us how they did it. We're starting at that point. Very, very small, but institutionalizing something like this is an enormous task. We're hoping you can come up with some ideas in California and maybe help us out.
Well, and one quick thing, and then we want to get to this one, Robin, because we want you participating here, is that I think the important thing is for faculty to feel comfortable with it. And that's why this workshop series has been so critical. Because I think right now, faculty don't necessarily understand, they understand the importance of it, but they don't understand as much how to really do that within the context of their course. And that's what we're hoping through this process.
We have faculty members that quite literally are referred to as maybe curious about this, slobs, irresponsible, attitude problems. I think we've all seen that. I have plenty of those problems. I try to dress neatly and take a shower, but some of the horror stories I hear from faculty about their students as well, who are just outstanding individuals. And having taught for over 20 years, yourself included, you know what I'm talking about. People that can be very, very productive and efficient out in the workforce, but they're not going to get hired for some reason that you've identified or your students have identified, and how do we best bring that to their attention? And so great stories, but we're starting on a small scale, Michael, and hoping that you can help us out in that regard. And I'm going to go to this round robin.
I have one thing I want to say, and that is, you know, as a consultant, if I was hired for the United States community college system, what I would say, Michael, is both and. That every entering student, I don't know if you would do it just for a single course if they're just taking Java. They're already employed probably. But that there would be a soft skills, perhaps a series that happens once a year, and there's a lot that can be taught Olivia, going into all the organizational development trainings that are out there on how to deal with difficult people, how to communicate, how to build teams. This stuff is out there in business. We're just not, so we would do that, and then it would be brought into the individual classes, whether it's IT or healthcare or whatever it is, with application. So ideally, that's what we'd be doing in our system. Whether there's the political and monetary will for that, I don't know. But personally, I think we need both and.
And the pushback from faculty saying there's so much technical content
already.
But
the thing is that if you let that go, it actually
right. And you can do both. So there's a huge systemic change.
It's a shift.
Huge systemic change.
Okay. So this, more at lunch, we'll talk.
I just had a question about what your strategies are in infrastructure once faculty go back to their campuses. Are you pairing faculty together? Are you creating learning communities? Are you, bringing in a skills expert with the content that expert of the faculty? How are you continuing to support the work?
They do work together.
I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all thing. Each institution has its own environment, but we've been pairing a little bit over at CSN and creating an institutional environment that supports that is the current challenge, because people are in their fight. So the reality is as more people go through these kinds of programs, I believe that we are on our own making those bridges.
Look closely at this flyer. Thanks. I'm an IT guy and I'm shy. I've got a 4.0 and can't get a job. James will be proud of all of the female male statistics. I got the job, positive attitude, communications, and so forth. Anyhow, as Deborah has pointed out, Phil as well, just tremendous buy-in by the faculty. They were just very, very engaged, had a great, great time, and again, we're hoping to share this information, the outcomes, if you give us a call. We're going to do what's referred to as a round robin operation or activity. It's going to be a lot of fun. What we want to do is, what we did with our own faculty is look at the question here, what are the important soft skills business and industry leaders are looking from your students? And so there are exactly 30 of you here. And so we got 3 groups, 10 per group.
Hope you appreciate that we worked that out.
It makes sense because the lack of space here, 10 of you in the back, it doesn't have to be 10, we can have 9 or etc. Figure it out. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. The idea in this round robin, we're going to spend 5 minutes answering this question, just somebody right here with good penmanship. I'd like to collect all of this information, share it with Carol, and compare it with our own faculty, the differences between California and other areas versus Nevada. If you can just jot all of that down in your brainstorm, spend 5 minutes. And what we're going to do is a group of 10, Group 1's going to go to Group 2, look at what Group 2 put down. And is there anything they're missing there? And if so, put it down there. And then Group 2 is going to go to Group 3. Group 3 is going to go to Group 1. And we're going to revolve this 3 times so that we have 3 saturated lists, and 100% of you will have the opportunity to ensure that everything is on there. So we collect all of this, and it represents what you deem as the answer to this question here. Okay, so
what questions do you have about the exercise?
5 minutes.
If you need a chair, take it with you, or find one near one of these flip charts. Otherwise, you can stand up and do this, and we'll move around.
We're going to go 5 minutes, and then probably
4, and then probably 3. All right?
As we wrote here. So the first one is the most critical, 5 minutes. So 10 of you over here, 10 of you over here.
Stand back there.
We'll take 5 minutes.
15 minutes.
So please move up by these charts. You'll have to move. Stand up and move. All right, and we'll be described. Sure. Oh. Move close. Why not? Yeah. Is there another, one more?
Yeah, there's only one more.
Thanks. Do you want to write it?
Select a writer and have them write it down.
The one closest to the pen?
Brainstorm.
Critical thinking.
Come up with.
What is many of those
Communication. That's what I was like emails.
Clear communication?
Yeah.
That's mine.
Mine too.
And clear listening. I think a lot of people don't listen. They can communicate well. One direction.
Discipline. I'm lucky to have 25%, 30% of my classes left at the final day.
I was saying no excuses there. I have so many people saying
Accountability?
Yeah, accountability is I don't care that your dog's sick. I don't.
I have to put something in my syllabus about emails and failure technology and what the electronic
Fiscal
costs do.
responsibility?
Oh, yeah. Working together in a verbal environment, no catching up each other, no, it's more of a teamwork, face-to-face teamwork. I don't know how to do.
No playing team.
Yeah, exactly.
What else?
Project management or being on time projects.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Punctuality?
Proper English, LOL.
How about honesty?
Proper use of
integrity?
Yeah.
I think that was outlawed.
That was outlawed?
Integrity, I think. Integrity is always.
Yeah.
And I guess I would say time management, maybe more than project management.
Yes.
You need to have respect from that.
I think knowing your place. I think a lot of the students think that just because you're the CFO and I'm the first year, I can still have as much time off as you, and they don't realize the hierarchy that they have to put in their time.
I teach my kids the golden rule.
How do I say
Whoever has the gold makes the rules. So if they're up there,
Yeah.
they make the decision.
Ditch the entitlement attitude.
Yeah, the hierarchy of
Entitlement attitude.
RHIP, rank has its privileges.
yes.
What about something about social awareness?
I was going to say like empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah.
I was going to say about what they put out on the internet is also available to others and knowing
Kind of a social
their
networking
responsibility.
Or what do they call it? Literacy.
Yeah.
So,
Social literacy?
social networking literacy. I think we want to have
We just passed a rule that says that schools cannot ask for your password to see what you did on Facebook.
A lot of them don't make it private. A lot of them don't make it private and they don't know
Literacy.
that.
Literacy.
Yeah, literacy. That's out there to everybody.
I'm not sure who says empathy.
One more minute, and then we're going to do a rotation.
I'm a hiring manager, and what I mean by that is the ability to look at things from the customer's perspective. In a personal sense, it's an empathy, like I can see from your point of view. In business, it's okay. What's happening to my customer? You know, what can I buy the
Role reversal.
Yeah.
Well, we call that the U viewpoint opposed to the I viewpoint.
You call it the what?
U viewpoint, opposed to the I viewpoint. Yes. That's great. Customer viewpoint.
Ability to learn. That's one. Teaching, opening to learning.
Yeah, opposed to ability, because you got the capable to learning something, and then the wrong guy.
Yeah,
and that's something that's capable of doing.
And you need appropriate behavior.
So here we go. Everybody sort of has to do this at the same time. Walk right. Because we gotta walk back.
Geek in my computer class challenged me. He says, "Look at your system and he's on the board." Okay. So you can do that.
I unplugged my machine.
We're going to spend a little bit less time because they may have already written what you wrote down, but if they missed something, please add to it.
Okay, so what are they missing? You want red? What different color?
Results oriented.
You want results oriented?
Who's got the green pen? Right here.
Initiative.
I'm working heads.
I don't think I see anything related to focus. Okay, focus. I think we also have three. Yes. They mentioned communication, but they didn't give an example of email. But could it be verbal? All types. All. Okay. Initiative. Oh, we got that.
Just go to the last slide.
Okay. I guess this is dependability. Interesting how many different words we can use for some of the same thing. Yeah. Collaboration. But you know that's what's happening in the workforce, right? Well, one of the other things too that I really didn't think we came up with was how do we address the ability to deal with diverse teams?
Diverse cultural and background.
Yeah.
Yeah, cultural competencies, diverse cultural competencies. That's a good word. What we have in Hawaii. Hawaii is just melting pot. That's why we know so much of it.
Okay, if you can go to your the last one. And then we're going to come back for the discussion.
Yeah. We're still behind the eight ball. Is this something unique to IT, or is it?
Yeah, this is all education.
Well, similarly,
Well, you could get pretty much down to the line. So that line list is so much more.
Fiscal responsibility. Oh, that's stuck out. Yeah. Integrity.
That's not going anywhere. We have to find a way around.
I've got one that I haven't seen any of the lists yet. Recognizing consequences.
Oh, yeah.
Consequence of behavior. Consequences. That seems like the most
Recognize and own consequences, or is that undertaking responsibility?
there isn't hygiene on there yet.
Yeah, it has to be on there. Students seem so surprised that things actually happen.
Yeah, but they have the repercussions from what they do. Okay, so we have self-efficacy over there.
Multiculturality. That's on there.
Is it on here?
Plus, and I put etiquette on, basic business etiquette on.
Okay, we've got about 30 more seconds and we're going to regroup.
Courage is a number.
Courage to go big.
It's an awareness. It's an awareness of what that takes. Courage is part of the faculty.
Me and my dean are talking about our keynote speakers, keynote's different, and how much courage and the competitiveness, the competitive attitude that she has. That if I could get that spark out of all my students, it would make my job so much easier.
You actually can do things that will help contribute to your success. What about instead of just sitting around whining about it?
Competing. I don't know.
But is there a positive? Competitiveness is fine. You know, it's like a good thing, I think.
How about competitive power?
Empowerment?
Yeah, empowerment. There you go. I was thinking about Ronald May there.
Who's that?
Ronald May wrote this book called Power and Innocence. And competitive power was the kind of power that could be bad or good.
Okay.
Hey, let's regroup.
Okay, that's good here.
Yeah, good.
Solve emotions. The last slide.
I know, I'm trying to. I'm going the wrong way. There we go.
Okay, we've only got a few minutes left.
This is incredible information here, and this is far more extensive than what we collected at the first workshop. So I'm glad to see stuff like stress management, willing to share and learn, willing to ask questions. These are new from what we had from the CSM College of Southern Nevada post faculty. Social networking. Gary from Folsom, recognizing consequences, taking ownership of your accomplishments, your rightful doings, wrongful doings. So some great points. We'll tally all of this stuff, transcribe it, and share it with you.
So what types of commonalities are you seeing? As you were going around, did you see a lot of similarities? It's very holistic perspective. It's not like three different things like it used to be. It's a really broad spectrum.
So when you went to group 2 and group 3, was there anything you had to write on both of them? Where you went, oh, they didn't do that. Oh, they didn't do that either, and we did. What were some of those that you added twice? Was there anything? The social networking, your group added twice. What? Courage was added twice.
That's another one, courage.
Business etiquette was added twice. Discipline was added twice. Fiscal responsibility was added twice. And then taking initiative was added twice. So that one group, those groups, they thought of it the same, that the other groups didn't think so. Yeah.
So we actually have 2 industry people here, right? Or more. Can you talk about why this is so important?
Because you were just actually making this comment.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in general, I just got pulled out of the line. I'm a technical support manager at NetApp, and I'm not down in Sunnyvale. I'm out of RTP in North Carolina. And I hope my daughter gets into Carolina. I'm waiting for the letter, so if you know anybody, I'll buy you dinner, whatever. the key thing that I saw in the group too was empathy, and I kind of turned around and said the ability to look at something not just from the other person's point of view, but the business's point of view. Because when the business calls in with a problem or you're trying to find them a solution for something that they have, that whoever you have interfacing with that customer has got to be able to look at it from their point of view. And I think somebody said, you called it you view as opposed to I view. Who was it that said that? Yeah, right there. You view versus I view, I like that one. So, you know, that ability to have business communications, and the second thing is business communications that don't distract from the issue at hand. So you've got something to solve. You don't want to distract it by profanity. You don't want to distract it by whatever on a personal basis. You want to be able to focus it on taking care of the customer as quickly as possible. And so generally when I have to get on a call, there's been a communication breakdown. We didn't call back when we said we would. Somebody said something that you kind of go later, it's like, oh my God, you really said that to a customer? Or they wrote an action plan that a 7th grader would be ashamed of. It's generally like 99, maybe not in 5 nines, but 95% plus. We get the technology right. In general, it's something in the soft skills that breaks down when somebody like me has to get on a call and talk a client off the ledge.
I can add a couple of things real quick. We can bring some straight, I suppose, but my company designs a lot of certification exams. We also design and develop the Microsoft Office exams, but you know, great discussion despite that 5 minutes about the Microsoft Office exams.
I did not.
Implementing a true, robust, industry-recognized certification into the classroom is a big step. If you're already teaching it, get your kids certified because it's all about collaboration. It makes them critical thinkers. I'll share with you a study by the Florida Department of Education that says certification programs make kids, it raises the bar in the classroom. So that's the first step. Begin to implement certification programs, true ones, not state assessments. Okay, that's just as good as something that your own instructors are pretty biased and can sometimes be subjective. Secondly, mention all this in the beginning of your classes all the time. Talk about you need to have these skills. All right, so I want you to obtain these other hard skills that you're getting, but these are the soft skills, so they'll start thinking about it from the very beginning. You need to cooperate with your neighbor. You need to learn to communicate. You need to take control. You need to have initiative. You need to put it out in front of them in the very beginning, because you can't possibly incorporate, some of you academicians that I was following, I didn't want to say much, but you hit it on the head, you can't incorporate all of this into your classrooms, okay? But you can certainly list it out and mention it, say you better leave here with some of these skills. You better leave it, and when you think about it, they will subconsciously try to obtain. IT geeks are great, but they better have some of these communication skills and confidence, right?
Right. That addresses Michael McGeevis. It's a great starting point. Thank you so much for that valuable input, especially coming from business and industry.
I didn't say anything about certification. I was saying quick teaching of classes. That was it. They were in good shape.
Oh, it's a great program, obviously.
Right. So anyway, yeah. So no, I was not dissing that at all. We're very close partners with Microsoft. I would never do that.
Is that one of your soft skills?
Yes, it is one of her soft skills. Partnering, yes.
And timeliness.
And
so here's a lot.
yes.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this and also got some information that will be useful in your classroom. Thank you.
And we'll be around for more questions.